Hey there! It's been a little while since I've been on this channel. It's been, what, about a month or two? Mainly because I've been focusing on my main channel. I haven't really focused on this because I haven't been committed to making content for MLB, baseball, MLB The Show, anything, sports related. I've been more focused on my main channel, but that's besides the point. If you want to check it out, there'll be like a thing at the end of the video, but let's not hammer into that too much. Today, what I want to talk about is my wish list, or stuff that I want to be in MLB The Show 20, the franchise mode. It's the mode that I play like the most, right? I love Diamond Dynasty, don't get me wrong, and I really enjoy playing Road to the Show. But having your own franchise to take control of, and signing players, having dream teams that you can never have play in a season, that's what I love. That's stuff that I enjoy. I enjoy running a team. I enjoy, making this big dynasty from small teams, or getting all the powerhouses on, like the biggest teams, that's stuff that I enjoy. But today, we're going to talk about all of the different things that I personally would want in the franchise mode for MLB The Show 20. Let me see here. We're just gonna go with everything normal except for that. We're gonna have everything automatic, just for this. Actually, no, that I'm gonna keep just for the sake of it, and we're gonna keep that just so nothing gets too crazy here. So, first of all, we're just gonna go to the regular season. Here's something that I want to talk about. The first thing is budgets, right? So, in this, when you don't put on the budgets, or when you leave the budgets as is, you get a certain amount to use every year, depending on the threshold and how much you're actually spending and stuff like that, right? I wish that, and just to point out, whenever I play franchise mode, I don't have the budgets on because I want to be able to spend my money however I want. I don't want to be forced or locked into spending so much money when you can be free with it, So the first thing that I want changed is I want a different budget system. If any of you have played older MLB The Shows, and I'm talking like 08, 09, 10, way back in the day, like 10 years ago, maybe more, there was a system where you could go to the bank, right, and take out a loan, and you could use that money towards your team. I don't remember how exactly, like, you paid back the money or something like that. However, if there was a way to, take out loans, or hell, even if we go to the, where is it? The GM goals. No, that's training. If we go to the GM goals, say there was a team performance. Say you were a smaller team, right? Say like with the Tigers, say you made it to 95 wins that season, like the first season when you're supposed to do really bad. How about, instead of it just being like a check mark, yay, you did it, what if you earn money from that? What if you made it to the World Series and you earned money from that to put back into your team? Whether it's coaching, training, players, coaches, scouts, whatever it is, right? What if you could use that money and put it back into the team? Rather than it just being like, you did it, congrats, but that's it. Something like that. I feel like that would be a good addition. Something else that I want to talk about before we head into the actual season or anything like that is, of course, when I start talking about it, I forget it. Injuries. Now, these, of course, will fluctuate between, playing through it. However, I propose an idea where what they should do is allow you to hire somebody to make sure or try to make sure that your players aren't getting injured. Of course, you can play without the injuries on. You can play without budgets on. You can do this. But I feel like that would be a decent idea. That way you feel more in control if you do have the injuries on. It's not just, well, this person might get injured, might not get injured, but it's all random. It's not, you don't have the choice. You don't have the control. And yes, injuries are always scarce. They can always happen randomly. But just buying and putting a training staff and somebody to help keep your players not injured as much, I feel like that would go a long way. And the last thing that I want to talk about before we head into this is I want roster expansions. We've been at 90 for the longest time, if I remember correctly, and we don't even have a full single A team. It's 15. I wish at least make it 100, right? At least give us 4 full teams. If you're going to do that, at least make it 100. I feel like we're getting to the point where they just have to build more with it. And I know they can't use minor league players. They can only use these fake people that they make up on the spot because, you know, all the stuff that they have to go through. But I feel like there's those people who make all the big, cool rosters where they try to get all the prospects in, but they can't get everybody in because there's only 90 slots. There are what? There's MLB, there's triple, there's double, there's single A, there's high A, I think there's low A, and there might even be one below that. That's what? 8? That's like 150. Right? 150? No, 8. That's like 200 players. I don't know what I'm thinking about here. Like, even if they give us 125, 100, 150, you know, just to get those players in so we can have a more realistic roster for those people who want to make them. That would be a good thing to do too. Like, really. It really would be a good thing to do for this game, for a franchise. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is scouting. I feel like this could be improved on. Especially when you're in this years down the line, right? Definitely years down the line. Because when you get 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years in, half of the people that you can draft are ages 23 and up. It's just that. They're all older and they get older and older the longer you play. And that's not very realistic. And even then, there are times when you see all of these people that you can scout to get, you know, in the draft, and half of them don't even show up. Half of them don't even show up. And shut up, phone. Shut up, phone. And yeah, half of them don't even show up. And there are times where you get like hundreds of people that you never even got a chance to scout. Or like they maybe show up a week before the draft. Have them all appear from the beginning and allow us to scout them. Whether you have to overhaul it or just allow us to do it in general. You know, even if you keep it the same, allow us to look at everybody who is going to be in the draft at the beginning and then let us go from there. Don't make it because, you know, you can see everything here. If I go, let's say, a couple weeks into the season, we're just going to do auto everything here. Yep. Oh, shit. Yep. I got it. Just auto everything. Let's just get through a little bit here. Come on. All right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if we go back to scouting, there will be more people here now. There are more people 3 weeks into the season than there were at the beginning, giving you less time to scout these players. Let us do it from the beginning. Don't make it to where you have to just sit here and wait. And wait. And wait. And then you might get a chance to do it. They just have to do that. They just have to. Also, I will go over this when we actually get into it. But here, let me just take a look. Look at this. 3 players. We saw how many injuries between 3 weeks? Guaranteed that can happen. But in a game like this, this is normal. This is normal. This is normal. For how many injuries that are going through here? This is on normal fucking injuries. This isn't like I toned it up or I toned it down. This is normal. And you have to understand, there are people who could be sitting through this and going like, all right, how many injuries am I going to get? Almost every team has 2 to 3 to 4 injuries. There are a couple that are lucky and don't have many, but if there was a way to control it, or try to make it to where you can get your players in better physical shape to where they don't do it, that would be great, in my opinion. Alright, now I want to head to the draft, so I will see you all there. Okay, now that we're at the draft. Oh, I should have went with the Orioles. I didn't even know what I was thinking. I was just going with the team that I knew had a lot of losses. So, here. There are times where you'll see, 75, 65. That's pretty good. But, you have like 80 potentials, 75 potentials. And some of them have an overall already of 65, 75. Guaranteed that one isn't scouted. Here we are. Here's another one. Halfway scouted. Decent stats. But there are times where those players who are fully scouted have like an 80, 70, 80, 65, 80, 75 even. And they don't pan out to be anything, at least in my experience. I don't know what it is, but I have a shit time. Pardon my fucking cursing, but I'm gonna curse. But there are times where I'll draft somebody like this, and they'll be like a C potential. Then what's the 75 potential for? 75 potential should mean that they're a B or an A potential. When you get down to 65 or 70, then yeah, they're going to dip down to B, C, and then C, D. But when you have somebody like a Julian Rodriguez, right? Now, I could be dumb. That's definitely a possibility. These people could all be very highly touted prospects. But in the time that I've played, and I play this a ton, this is the mode I play the most, I run through sometimes where there are players who just never pan out. So I'll draft him, and we'll see how it goes later on. I will test my luck. Also, I wish that whether it's hidden, whether it's blatantly known, or whatever it may be, I want it to where, let's go with a 70-70, just, trying to draft a couple different people to see how they look and everything like that, just for the point of the video. What I want is for at least one. It doesn't have to be every season, maybe every other season, right? But I want it to where one person in a draft is like the most highly touted prospect. Now, whether it's a secret of when they can pop up or who they even are, something like that, that's fine. But there are so many times when you'll go through a draft and you will not find that one highly touted prospect. You're never going to find them. It just doesn't exist, right? And I wish there were more. Because you find so many, and I know it's definitely realistic to baseball. I get it. I definitely get that. Let's go with the accuracy. Sure, let's go with Alfonso. But there are so many times where you'll go through season after season after season after season after season and never find anybody who is even halfway decent. I'll just pick a random one. And that's dumb in my opinion. At least that's how it is for me. I will never find, even on other teams, somebody who is an A potential and who could play in a year or two. You will never find those players in this game. Yeah, look. Julian, 75 potential. C. Why? Why? He was so highly touted, and he was a 75 potential. Why? Everybody I drafted was a C potential. They all had potentials of 75, 80. Yeah, 75. 75 on the 20 to 80 scale should not be a C. That's what makes it confusing and dumb when you're trying to figure out who to draft. And yeah, there will definitely be players like this guy who will make it in 3, 4, 5 years. This guy, he won't make it for fucking 7. And yeah, there will be players like that. But it gets to a point where you're going to want to find these players with accurate ratings. And you just don't find it sometimes when playing this mode. So they definitely need to change how scouting and drafting works, because it's not that accurate. It just isn't, at least, you know, how I'm doing it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I went for the 80 potential, 75 overall guy, and I got shit. I didn't get none. I got fooled. And I was fully scouted. Well, except for maybe like a tiny little chunk at the end, but it was almost fully scouted, and this is what I get. And yeah, I get it, it's baseball. But this is a simulation. This isn't real baseball. It's not meant to be completely true to the source, 100% accurate, and you're gonna fucking get fucked over sometimes. But you get what I mean. If it says it's an 80 potential, if it says that it's 70, 75 overall at this moment in time, I expect more than this. Okay. Now, we need to talk about the next thing, which is trading. This needs to be redone. It does. There are times where you can trade. Let's go back to the drafts, right? Let's look for a highly touted, right here, Juan Bautista. This guy right here, 70 overall, A potential, 18 years old. If I were to go into the next season and try to trade for Juan Bautista, I could get him for fucking pennies on the dollar. I could probably trade him. Who do I have on my team? I could probably trade him for fucking Pablo Escobedo. And I'm not kidding. This needs to be redone. If you draft a highly touted prospect, and it's just, if you draft one, he shouldn't be so easily available. That's all I'm saying. Yes, he needs to prove himself, but if we go back to the 2010 draft, I want to say, I think that's when Harper got drafted. I don't remember if it was 2009 or 2010. I think it was 2010. If you were to tell me that in 2011 that the Nationals were going to trade fucking Bryce Harper for Brendan Ryan, I would have laughed in your face. But in this game, you can do that. You can trade the next Bryce Harper, the next Manny Machado, the next Max Scherzer. You can trade them for Brendan Ryan, for Shane Robinson, for Juan Lagares. You can trade him for these people who are not good. Who are not these amazing players. You can trade them. Actually, I'll get into that right now. Speaking of trading, we have two more things to talk about trading. Money. If you're not doing the budget to where you can spend however much you want, you have to be able to trade money. Have to. That way, you can balance out, you know, the contracts and everything like that. And, you know, everything would work that way. If I wanted to get rid of Cabrera, but I was willing to eat $15 million per year, that should boost up his trade value. We need something like that in this game. It's in Out of the Park. We need it in MLB The Show. Okay? Just have to. And the final thing that I want to talk about trading is we need more than just 2-team trades. We need it. I want to pull off these crazy trades like the one that happened this year. What was it? Cincinnati, Cleveland, and San Diego. We need to pull off trades like that where Bauer goes to the Reds, Puig and Franmil Reyes go the fuck to Cincinnati, and then Trammell goes to the Padres. You know, we need to be able to pull off these crazy trades because that would make us so much more interesting and so much more dynamic and real and everything like that. You just got to be able to do it. But you can't in this. You can't. You're stuck with just 2 teams. Good luck. Have fun. So that's the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to that. Alright. Now let's move on to a little later. Alright. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the transactions. Because when you get past the trade deadline, every year, the teams put out players. Like the Red Sox right now are putting out Mookie Betts on the trade waivers. Jonathan VR, Alex Colome, Marcell Ozuna. These are players that you're not going to see being put on trade waivers at the trade deadline. You're not going to see these people being put on the fucking waivers after the deadline is done to where people can claim them. So either A, teams have to stop doing this, or B, you have to be able to actually be able to claim a player. Because what is the point of doing this? The only people you will get from this is fucking Bartolo Armas. Great first name though, gotta say. I will probably be able to claim Armas, but I'm not going to be able to claim Betts. So why even put him there? Unless you give me a chance. Let's skip a day. Unless you give me a chance to trade for him, which, let's make sure, let's go to the Red Sox. Oh, look, he's not there. I claimed him. I can't trade for him. I'm not going to get him either way. So why even put him there? So they either need to A, stop putting all these giant players on the fucking trade waiver block. Yeah, if you want to do the trading block, fine. The waiver trading block, the waiver, what the fuck it's called? The waiver wire? Don't put them on the waiver wire. They're not going to be claimed by anybody. They're not going to be traded. So stop putting them there if they're the highest fucking people. Because this is just useless any other way. In the middle of the season, right? In the middle of the season, if it's fucking May and somebody puts somebody on the waiver wire, you can claim them. But when it's the trade deadline, like the day after the trade deadline, you can't. You'll never be able to. So they need to stop doing that. Or you need to give us a chance to trade for them. And there's no way to do it. No matter what I do, I can't. I will never be able to trade for them. So they really, really, really have to fix it. See, I was able to claim the 45 overall guy, but I will never get the chance to claim the big guy. All right? So that's something that they have to fix. They just have to. So now, let's go to the end of the season. Alright, before we go into the actual postseason and offseason, I forgot something that I want to talk about at the beginning of the video. When it comes to spring training, you have the 40-man roster that you can call up to play spring training games. Can we just make it like unlimited or something? Can we make it 50, 60? Because there are times where I'll have a full, actual roster of a team, and I'm forced to stick with 40 when I could be using 50 or 60. So can we fix that? And also, when it comes to spring training, or just in a team in general, when you have, I don't know if it's still there now. No, it's not. I should have stopped the game early. Where you'll have, all this filled out, and then you'll have, pitchers below this. Let them pitch. Let them pitch. I don't know what it is. But if you are not in these 10 slots as a reliever, you will never pitch in a game. Ever. That needs to change. Alright? It needs to change. I want to test it out at some point when it comes to like an extra inning game where it's like tied 0-0 for 20 innings. They still may never pitch. I don't know. But allow those players to pitch. Alright? It's dumb. I don't get why it's like that. Allow those pitchers to pitch. Now, let's head into the offseason. Oh, fucking before I end the offseason. Before we do that, I almost completely forgot one of my biggest fucking gripes about this game. Attributes. This needs to stop. They changed this in, 16 or 17? And it is the worst fucking addition that they added ever. Miguel Cabrera, age 35. Hell, let's go to somebody who's maybe a little younger. Santana, 32. Yeah, he's still striving. Abreu, 32. I'm looking for somebody like 30... like 34, somewhere around the same age as him. Edwin. He's not a good example. He had a horrible fucking season. But what I'm trying to get at is there are times where you'll have an older guy, like a Cabrera, who has a fantastic season. 20 home runs, 281 average, only struck out about 100 times. Really good numbers. Especially for an older guy. But his stats drop like fucking hell. They just plummet. Stop it. Stop. This is dumb. If the player has a good season, if he has the season of his life, stop dropping the stats because they have to drop. That's so dumb. I hate it. I hate it much more than anything else. Actually, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this because I'm going to come back to it. But because I, play so many franchises, I have a shit ton of them. I'm just going to get rid of this one. Sorry, Orioles. I need this as an example because I have to go back to, there's one franchise that I have. Trying to remember what team it was for. It was I think it's the Tigers. I think it's the same team. Where is he? Acuna. Fucking 30 years old and look at those drops. Why? He is 30 fucking years old. He has been having season after season of fucking destroying the ball. At least 800 OPS every single season. Oh, at least 500 slugging every single season. He has had fantastic seasons. He has played almost every game except for when I traded to bring him to Detroit. But look at the numbers. They're so good. And at 30 years old, he is declining. Why? You can't say that he is on the down low with a 303 season, 31 home runs, almost 100 RBIs, a 900 OPS year. 1,000% fielding, probably one of his better seasons that I've played with him. You cannot say that this season he is on a decline. If you want to make it to where players are starting to decline, 34, 35, 36, fine. But starting to decline. Not randomly declining 10 points of overall. That's not how it works. Unless they are incredibly injured or, just can't figure shit out. Yes, I get it. But when they're having good seasons, you can't just say that they're on a decline. Acuna's not on a decline here. He's probably having one of his best seasons ever. Ever since 2023 and it's 2028. He's having one of his best seasons since that year. Unless you want to include 2027 because of all the home runs, the RBIs, and everything else. The big OPS. But he's having one of his best fucking seasons. 2 of his best fucking seasons. And he's on the decline. Why? I just had to get that out. It annoyed me so much to see that. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. That stuff like that has to stop. It has to. Don't make players who are in their prime decline at 30 years old. If you want to start the decline, start it around 34 to 36 and then make it gradually more and more as time goes on. You're not going to see 32 to 33 year olds just randomly fucking lose their arm and it's not like they turn 32, 33 and then forget how to swing a bat or forget how to pitch a pitch. Look at Max Scherzer, fucking one of his best years, and what is he, 34, 35 I think, somewhere in there? Fucking still going strong, but this game wants to make you think otherwise. Sorry, had to get that out. That has to change. I'm sorry. If you want to have it morale based, where teams, still have the morale of they want to be in certain cities and they want to bat certain places in the lineup and they want certain coaching and stuff like that, that's fine. I get it. I'm not going to complain about that. That's fine. I 100% get that much. But you can't have players just randomly decline when they're having good seasons. Okay? Please, Sonny San Diego, somebody show them this. Please. Somebody. If you're in cahoots with them, somebody show them this video. Please. Please. I love them. I love their games. But come on. Not everybody declines at 32. Not everybody declines at 30. People fluctuate. Nobody. Alright, let me rephrase that. Nobody just randomly declines in their prime. Nobody. Unless it's because of an injury. Then they decline. Alright? I just have to get that out there. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about is actually signing free agents. Let's just go into the free agent stuff here. Nope. Alright. Signing free agents. So, let me take a drink here before I get into this. Okay. When it comes to free agents, what it should be, right, is, say I wanted an Avisaíl Garcia, right? I see he's an 82 overall. He's 28. He had a pretty good season. Somebody like him, I'd probably offer 3 years, $15 million. Let's say that. 3 years, $15 million. Okay, it's lower than that. So, Here's what it should be. Okay, let's backtrack. Let's go with a Marcell Ozuna. We all know that Marcell Ozuna is going to get paid this year. How much? We don't know. It probably will be somewhere around $20 million a year, give or take. So let's say for the sake of this, I wanted to give Marcell Ozuna $10 million. See, right here, he's 15. Say I wanted to give him $10 million a year, right? Say I offered him 5 years, $50 million. I don't want the looking for. I want to give him my offer. I don't want the interest. I don't want none of that, all right? I just want to be able to give him what I think he is worth. Now, after I give him it, this is something that I want them to implement. Say I give him $50 million over 5 years. I would want, say, I give it to him, I go back out, and then I decide to sim a day. Marcell Ozuna's already signed. Of course, the one example I use. Whatever. Say the next day, I get a notification. And it goes, Marcell Ozuna fires back at 5 years and $80 million. I want to have a back and forth discussing prices with players. I feel like that would be an interesting, an interesting way of going about this, because here it's just, if I play with, the money off, of course I can do this with the money off either way, but even so, if I'm playing with the money off, I can just go, alright, let's go to free agency. I want Will Smith. I'm going to pay him. Let's just go down here. He wants $9 million, so I'll give him like $12 million for like 5 years and call it a day. No, because I feel like this would make it better, where if it's a thing where you can negotiate, that would be much better, rather than just, here's how much I'm willing to give you, take it or leave it, and that's it. And then you can see everybody's interest. Yeah, you should be able to see some interest, but you shouldn't be able to know how much they're willing to pay. Say, let's go back here. The offer and interest level. Get rid of the offer. 100%. Get rid of the fucking offer. I want to not see an offer, because that's how it is in real life. Say, alright, here's an even better thing. If you're going to show an offer, just show years. This team is willing to go 6 years. This team is willing to go 3 years. Yeah, you can show, I don't know if you should show interest level. You can do that, I guess. Like, they're interested to going here because they live closer, something like that. He lives in Georgia. So yeah, he would want to be closer to New York than he would want to be in San Francisco, just because it's closer. But, I feel like having negotiations with players would be a great thing to do for free agency. That way, it's more involved, and you're really trying to sign these players. Whereas, how it is now, 90 to 95% of the big players, Garrett Cole, Yasmani, Will Smith, Brandon Morrow, Pedro Strop, Jake Odorizzi, all these players who are younger and have high overalls will probably be signed in a week. That's not how it is in baseball. Will Smith, gone. Grandal, gone. Strop, gone. Cole, gone. Odorizzi, gone. In a week. All gone in 1 week. Everybody I named is now gone. Off the market in 1 week. Have it extended. Nobody, no giant player is just leaving the market 1 week in. Have it to where some of the really, really big players will go, a month into free agency. Allow that to happen. Allow that to be a thing. Don't make it to where everybody is just on and off. Gone. Bye. Have a nice day. I'll see you next year. Make it more like free agency in real life. Alright. Now the last thing that I want to talk about. And I know this video is a long video. I can see how long I've been recording. And I know there are like a minute or two where I have to cut out, so that's not really helping much. So the last thing I want to talk about is, and I may forget things, if you guys have any ideas, leave them down in the comments below. We can talk about it. We can go back and forth. You know, give me your ideas of what you would want changed. You know, stuff like that. I'm not touching Diamond Dynasty because I think Diamond Dynasty is almost really good as it is now. And Road to the Show is almost really, really good as it is now. This is the mode that needs the most change. It is. It just is. Everything else is almost perfect the way it is. Of course, you need like gameplay changes and everything like that, but content-wise, everything else is pretty good. This is what needs the most. So the last thing I want to talk about is international signings. These have to be a thing. Say a team or every team gets $1 million to start off. Let's say this how it starts off. Every time you go into it, every time you start a new franchise, you get $1 million of international spending money. I don't know when they do it in real life, but for the sake of this, let's say it's every January. Just so you have something to do every month. November, you're signing your people. December, you got the Rule 5 draft. You got the winter meetings. Also, winter meetings. There should be a few more trades that are happening in the winter meetings. You know, that's when they should like amp up the trades potentially. So that's just something that they should do. But, you know, there's something to do every month. But January, it's just empty. There is nothing to do. So here's when I think they should do the international signings. So every year, every franchise, every time you start it up, you get $1 million. And depending on the player, they can fluctuate anywhere from, let's say 50K if they're like on the lower tier to like 2 to 3 million. And the only way to get this international money is by, you know, winning the World Series, or, you know, just getting far in the playoffs, winning certain things like having a player win MVP, winning a Cy Young award, or trading for international money. This way, you can get money. Let's say you get to that $2-3 million player and you want to sign them. Of course, you want these players to be young players. We're not signing international players that are 25 years old, all right? No. Unless they are playing for me and they have like an 85 or higher overall and they can play that year, fine. Then I'll do it. But I'm not signing an 85. I'm not signing an 85. I'm not signing a 25-year-old person that's 70 overall. Not doing it. So either have them between the ages of like 18 to 20 and, you know, somewhere between like the 65 to 75 overall, you know, depending on like the price, you know, something like that. Or if they're going to be like 23 and higher, have them be like 80 overall or higher, where you can plug them right into your lineup rotation, your team right away. I feel like this would be another interesting way of getting players on your team. So this way, you're doing 3 different drafts to potentially help out your team every year. And let's just be real. I enjoy drafting players. That's just me. But that would be an interesting thing. Like, in this game, you can't sign a Tanaka, an Ohtani, a Gary Sanchez, a Luis Severino. You can't sign these players, a Kikuchi. And I'm sure there's a shit ton more that are still like in the minor leagues or hell even playing today. You're never going to be able to sign those players because you're never able to do an international signing day. So to have a draft or just a thing in general where you're like bidding on players, or hell, let's just say it's one full week in January. The beginning of the week, You put how much you want to put in for a player. They can counteroffer like they do in free agency. They can do stuff like that. And they can, do the interest like they want to play for a team on the East Coast or they want to play for a team on the West Coast like Ohtani like to do. Something like that. That's fine. If they say they want to play on the West Coast and you're playing as the Orioles, the Tigers, the Yankees, the Rays, you're not going to get them. But if they want to play on the East Coast or the Central, you're going to have a better shot. I feel like these things would make franchise mode so much better, so much more interactive, better intuitively, better, just everything would be better strategically. So that's my list. I don't know how many points I pointed out. Somewhere between like 5 and 10. Probably more actually. But that's my list. If you have anything that you didn't like in my list, you can let me know down in the comments below. If you have anything that you want to add, you can leave it down there. But let's start a conversation. You can follow me on my 2 Twitters. My main Twitter is ConnorCondria20. And my second Twitter, which is focused only on baseball stuff, Condria MLB. So you can follow me on either one of those. I'm trying to be more interactive on there. I'm trying to tweet more because when I was younger, even just earlier this year, I never tweeted. I never did anything on Twitter. I was just looking through it. But now I want to get more interactive. I want to talk with more people. I want to put myself out there more. I want to, get out there, do shit. Don't be this insecure little kid who just wants to make YouTube videos. I want to get out there. I want to do something with my life. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the list. If you want to subscribe to me, you can do it here. But I'm telling you now, I will be more active and posting more on my main channel. So give that one a look. See if you like the stuff that's on there. I will come back to this channel when I'm fully invested in making content for it. But I'm not going to do it if I'm not invested, If I want to do tier lists, if I want to do MLB The Show videos, if I want to talk about baseball in general, when I get that full compassion to come back and do this, when I'm really comfortable where I am on my main channel, I will 100% come back to do this. I'm almost certain that I'll probably be back in 2020 if like half of the things that I talked about are added into franchise mode. I will be back and making a big franchise series because I tried to do it twice, but I just couldn't get fully invested. But here's to hoping that next year everything will be 10 times better, 10 times more fluid and everything like that. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want, like if you want, comment down below anything that you want to say or your ideas or anything like that. And yeah, I will see you all either at my main channel, on my Twitter, or sometime later in the future. See you soon.